Yep.
We're live. Hey.
Hey.
Once again, at a certain point, I'm going to get us like an intro animation.
He's only been
I
saying
just
this
need
for
to
2
find the
months,
time to make
3
it.
months.
So that we can do this show properly and not have this awkward moment where we're just kind of sitting here. But anyways,
Hi.
hello, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to BitRate is back after...
John has finally returned after many setbacks.
Okay, well, not really setbacks. It
I
was,
know.
what was I doing?
Well,
Oh,
you were at a con. You were at a con the first time, right? At work.
yeah, but I've been back since then.
Yeah.
But
And
then also like
camping.
family stuff, and then
Yes.
camping. So
Oh right. Oh right. The con was a while back. Yeah. There we go.
yeah, that was in July. That was San
Yeah.
Diego Comic Con.
That's right.
But yeah, so we're back here, and I think we'll be doing BitRate episodes for at least the next couple of weekends before I have more stuff that I have to do.
Yeah, that's the idea. I don't think I have anything else on my plate either.
This week, later on this month, I have a family thing one weekend, and then the following weekend, I believe, is Portland Retro Gaming Expo, which I will be at all 3 days.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That sounds rad.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like running around. I'm gonna be interviewing people. I'm gonna be hoping to talk to. I believe Night Dive is gonna be there. I believe Hyperkin is gonna be there. I'm gonna try to talk to people from all those, and then there's gonna be a bunch of like indie companies and things of that nature. So I'm gonna be trying to talk to a whole bunch of folks.
Makes sense.
I'm trying to schedule interviews with the original Mortal Kombat actors.
Ooh.
Like the ones from the game Mortal Kombat are going to be there.
As in the models for the digitized
yeah.
fights? That's fucking
and
awesome.
I'm trying to see if I can get one or two of them to talk to me. That'd be a lot of fun. Great. But so stay tuned for that. There will be stuff from Portland Retro Gaming Expo coming down the pipeline. I don't know where I'll post it, but I'll post it somewhere. But yeah, so Ash, how have you been? It's been a couple weeks since we've talked.
It has been. Weeks. I've been fine. Well, yeah. I've been fine. I haven't really been doing anything all too special. There are a few things I can share. I've mostly just been like working a little here and there on certain things. Future videos. I'm playing some games that I'll cover in a future video, but I won't say what those are right here, right now, at least.
Oh, you don't want to announce your next Fiction Addiction episode?
I don't like to announce what the next one is about because, like, and this is probably stupid of me, but one thing I really like about watching these kinds of media reviews like AVGN and all that stuff is the surprise moment when I see a new thumbnail from them. You know,
that's fair.
Like and you get that feeling of either, oh shit, they're doing that one, or what the hell are they doing now? Like, what the hell is this? Like, what on earth is Super Kid? Like, you know,
I get it.
It's stuff like that. So I don't actually like announcing it very much. But I have some ideas.
What about aesthetics? You got anything coming down the pipeline for that?
I got something coming up. I am working on the sequel for the villain swap thing, and I finished all the drawings for a different video where I'll be drawing some Dragon Quest monsters. People saw that on stream a while back, and I'm gonna be doing another one where this was the stream I did last week when you weren't here, where I'm gonna be taking lame characters and seeing if I can make them look cool without like redesigning them entirely. Just draw them, try to take them seriously as characters, and see what we can do with them.
A little bit more like dynamic and expressive than they might
exactly. Like, you know, stuff that might have good ideas but doesn't have the best art style, or a character that didn't really get to show off what they can do or something, and just be like, all right, let's see what we can do with this character. Let's see if we can make them awesome.
Solid
it's a fun little challenge. Without, like I said, without redesigning them, without rebooting them. Just as they are. Let's see if we can make them work.
Meanwhile, on the Bender Waffles front, you guys kind of threw some of my plans into disarray because I posted a couple episodes of series that were done on the Collective that channel's completely dead.
I'm posting those, by the way, in the future too.
Yeah, smart. I posted those just kind of being like, yeah, I'll put some feelers out, see what people think of this type of content, if it's something that they want. One of them tanked like entirely. Yeah. Apparently you guys do not care what I thought about Alien 3, which is unfortunate because I've got a lot of thoughts. Hello, Psycho Pomegranate.
Hi there.
apparently, yeah, none of you cared what I had to say about Alien 3. However, a lot of you had a lot to say about what I thought of Final Fantasy VII on the NES. That is currently my top performing video of the year. So, okay,
Ain't too bad.
I guess I'm gonna do more pop security videos. Is the name of that series? Taking a look at it's very
Welcome
much
to my world, man.
It's
Covering the obscure stuff is fun.
It's very much a fiction addiction thing. I realized that when I was thinking about when I was looking through, because I have scripts for like 3 or 4 more episodes of that show, and I was looking at it. I was like, this is very much a fiction addiction thing, because it's looking at the weird, bizarre, and obscure parts of your favorite pieces of pop culture. So I've got episodes in the pipeline for I'm gonna look at Bat Cow, because that's always a good time.
Bat Cow. Yeah, Bat Cow is fun.
I'm going to talk about Alien 2 on Earth, the unofficial sequel to Alien that was released in the 80s.
Is this by any chance Italian?
Yes, it's Italian. Its original release was Alien 2 Sulla Terra or something like that.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would be Italian. They were quite fond of doing that in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. And I'm also going to be talking about, I actually have a physical copy of this. Pokemon Yellow for the NES.
Oh shit, for the NES. Nice.
I also have an episode coming down the pipeline for that. So stay tuned. Be looking forward to that. Yeah, so a lot of great things coming down the pipeline for Bender Waffles. A lot of great things coming down the pipeline for Fiction Addiction and Aesthetics.
We're hoping.
But yeah, with that, let's talk about some stuff that happened while we were gone and away. Some things that were, exciting to some of us. First off, right off the bat, this is one that we're gonna go through because I have thoughts about it, but I know that you don't. Alien Romulus released, which was one that
I hope to get to see it soon. I actually do have some tickets. It's just, am I in town?
Yeah. Originally, I had originally planned on actually doing a Fiction Addiction BitRate episode.
The one thing I have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna steal your channel. Well, I have access to live streaming on your channel now,
that is
so
true.
that is true. I could just do that.
You could absolutely fuck with me.
I could.
Like, I look for a way for a day you just stream a picture of an ass for like 7 hours.
I'm just gonna have a compilation of Logan Paul's most offensive episodes and just live stream a compilation of that on your channel.
I mean, to be fair, that would probably get me subs. So.
Or some Ai generated Elon Musk crypto stuff.
Okay, now fuck you. That actually happened to my old channel once. So how about stop? I did get hacked once. So.
Yeah, so Alien Romulus came out. I had originally planned on doing a BitRate episode, even to the point that I was like, okay, I will pay for you to go into town, to go see it. But then timing wise, it just didn't work out. I actually wound up seeing it down in Oregon with a friend of mine while I was down there for some family stuff. And I don't want to get into any spoilers with it, but I do want to share my main thought about this film. I tweeted about it, and I had some few discussions with people on there about it. But so before the movie came out, I actually publicly released my rankings of Alien films.
Yes, I think I remember this.
Yeah, I posted that on Twitter, and it was, I feel like it wasn't that controversial of a ranking. Let me actually see if I can find it, and we'll go over it really quick. Because I don't remember it off the top of my head. This is one that I thought really long and hard about. Okay, here it is. Number 1 is Alien. Even though Aliens is my favorite movie, I recognize that Alien is a better movie.
I mean, you do that with a lot of things, right? Like personal favorites and what's actually a better film. It's a different beast, but think about the Cornetto trilogy for a second. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. By all accounts, Shaun of the Dead is the better movie. But my absolute favorite is Hot Fuzz.
See, I would argue that Hot Fuzz is the better movie.
Oh, well.
Better made.
Well, maybe better filmed, but structured, I think Shaun of the Dead is a little better. I just like Hot Fuzz more because it makes me laugh more.
Fun fact, at least fun fact for basically nobody, because nobody else would care. Owen, my best friend.
I do.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is his favorite movie of all time.
It fucking rules. I've seen it a million times myself.
That's an amazing
anyway,
movie.
Go on.
Anyways, yeah, Alien number 1, Aliens number 2, and Alien 3 number 3. So they go in order there.
Pretty nice so far.
Then this is where we diverge. Prometheus was number 4. Alien versus Predator, the first one, was number 5. I included the AVP films because to me they are, they're close enough.
Yeah, sure.
Number 6 was Alien Resurrection, higher than a lot of people probably thought. Number 7 was AVP Requiem, and number 8, the worst of the worst, was Alien Covenant. I fucking hate that movie.
Alien Covenant. I did actually see that one. I haven't seen Prometheus or the versus Predator movies. I did see Covenant a few years back when it came out, and I was like, immediately I just had this thing like, why are they not wearing anything remotely protective on a strange planet?
I fucking hate Covenant so much.
But anyways, everything about it was so stupid. Sorry, I gotta rant for a sec. Everything about it, they're like a colony ship, if I'm remembering correctly. They're actually transporting hundreds of people with the express purpose of like colonizing a planet somewhere, if I'm recalling correctly. Their brilliant idea when they find a weird ass planet with some weird ass reading is to stop, poke around down there without wearing any gloves, any protective gear, anything whatsoever, and then they're surprised when they get infected. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, they're like colonists, not scientists.
I don't fucking care. It's so stupid.
I know.
So
I'm trust me. I'm not trying to defend that movie in any way, shape, or form. But here's the thing about Alien Romulus. For 98% of that movie, as I was watching it, I was like, "This is number 3," like solidly, like. To me, it was like for 98% of that movie, for the first 98% of that movie, I was like, this is right up there with Alien and Aliens, which is saying something because those are incredible. Those are like borderline masterpieces in my opinion. Like, I mean, they're great. Like when I ranked those movies, understand that like, yeah, Alien 3 was at number 3 for me, but it was like Alien 3 is not in a stable spot. Like like I like Alien 3, but it's not as close to 1 and 2 as 1 and 2 are to each other. But watching Romulus, I was like, this movie is right up there with them.
That's great to hear. Like,
and then the last 10 minutes happened.
So yeah.
Then the last 10 minutes of
that sounds...
Romulus happened.
Whoops.
And that last 10 minutes was enough that Romulus, I begrudgingly put it number 4.
Aw.
There was a point, and when you see it, you'll know the point. There's a point at the end of the movie, like about 15 minutes before the actual ending, where there's like a fuck you moment.
Oh.
Which, like, it's a very like satisfying, like, haha, fuck you. And it's like a great moment. And I'm like, if you just end there, then the movie would be damn near perfect, and you'd have brilliant sequel bait. But then they just chose to go just a step further.
That sucks so much.
And I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it like so much.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Outside of that, as an Alien fan, the only critique that I really had, the cast was magnificent. The set design and all the production design and everything was brilliant. Not a lot of adult xenomorph in it.
Really?
I feel like this isn't much of a spoiler because like the trailers showed it off a lot. Face huggers are like the primary threat in this movie, which is interesting because like face huggers are oftentimes like kind of brush past really quick.
Yeah.
But now it's like a good portion of the movie is like that is what you have to worry about, not necessarily the adult xenos.
I mean, that is interesting because like that makes it sort of an infection movie, which we've seen a million of, don't catch the disease, don't let the monster convert you or whatever the hell. And of course, that's still very much a topic people are thinking about over the last few years. So I can see that. I can see why that's an interesting angle to take. But we're all there for the xenomorphs in the end.
Yeah, we're there for the adult xenomorphs. And like when they do show up, they look amazing. They are terrifying. It's brilliant. Then the last like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, jeez. Well, that sucks.
But like the thing about it is that I almost feel like I'm in the minority looking at like social media reactions and things of that nature.
Mm.
Because I don't see that many people complaining about the ending. A couple people here or there, but seems like I might be in the minority here, which is fine if I am. It
Oh yeah,
happens.
sure. I have that with some movies myself. Like one scene I hate that everyone else loves, or all the way around. You know, it happens. Who cares?
Maybe I'm just a boomer Alien fan where like
Maybe.
now I'm just like it's just not for me, I guess.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't know. I can't really comment on it until I see it. I have been very positive minded about it ever since I learned it was Fede Alvarez making it, if that's how
Oh
you
yeah.
say his name. Because
But
he doesn't have a lot of movies under his belt, but the ones he has are fucking badass. Like,
Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, like
yeah.
those two films were enough to sell me on anything that guy ever does.
Oh yeah, and of course we don't need to talk too much about the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, but
Was that him?
No, he produced it. But
Oh, okay, he produced it. All right.
yeah, but he's only
Then that's not
directed.
on him.
No, it isn't. He's only directed these 3 horror movies and The Girl in the Spider's Web, the adaptation of the Millennium books.
Did he direct Don't Breathe 2, or was he just a producer on that?
Let's see. He is a producer and a writer on it.
Oh, okay.
I never got around to Don't Breathe 2.
It's
personally.
fine. It's
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
sure
it's just more of the same.
The first one is brilliant, by the way. If there are people out there
Oh, yeah.
who love horror movies and haven't seen Don't Breathe, watch Don't Breathe. It's fucking.
Even
rules.
though I don't know if I would like. There's horrific stuff in it, but I don't know if I'd call it a horror movie.
Well,
so much as it's a thriller.
It's a very gross thriller. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
Well, again, there's horrific stuff in it, but I don't know if I would say that it's a horror.
The villain's actual goal is stupendously disgusting. Let's just put it that way. Oh,
Yeah.
You'll never look at a turkey baster the same way again. Let's put it that way.
Jesus Christ. Pinky over here saying, I choose to pretend that 3 and 4 never happened. So to me, 3 is decent enough that when I sit down to watch Alien films, I will watch Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3 because to me it's a completed story arc. It's a completed trilogy. And while 3 does have some problems, definitely has some problems. It's not on par with Alien and Aliens. It is at least worth watching just for the sake of finishing the arc.
I remember enjoying it just fine when I saw it. So
and there's some like genuinely really cool moments in it. 4,
yeah, go on.
No. Resurrection, no, should never have been made.
It's always a shame when there's a movie where you actually like the ideas it has, because the idea of this, like you mentioned it in your video, in your Alien 3 video, how to fix it. The idea of this ship basically being hell, and the alien being the devil coming to reap. That is really freaking cool. And if they leaned up against that a little more, like you mentioned,
they didn't lean into the religious aspect of Alien.
There are some movies that have these really cool premises, and then it just never delivers on them.
Yeah.
Way back when I made those horrible horror videos, I said the same thing about a Freddy Krueger sequel, like a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. There's one where he's feeding the souls he kills to like an undead child. Not to an undead child, to an unborn child.
The 5th is that one. Dream Master?
It's Dream Child. It's Dream Child.
Dream Child.
It's the 5th one. Because that idea is really cool, taking a classic idea like son of insert monster here and modernizing it a bit to work with Freddy. I think that idea is super fucking awesome. The movie just sucks. It's just too bad. But that was the best example I could think of right off the top of my head.
Psycho Pomegranate, if you do like, you're saying here talking about Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. My video that I put out that I said that tanked is actually about how I believe that Alien 3 could be fixed, and I hit some of the major points as we talk about, like double down on the devil is one of the things I say to do. My number one thing that I say, and I stand by this, the number one thing to me to fix Alien 3 was don't make Alien Resurrection. So if you're going to ignore one, Alien 4, by all means, ignore Resurrection. But Alien 3 will be better for it if you do that.
This is obviously not a hard rule, But when sequels start adding words like resurrection or chronicles or
Well,
bloodlines or something to the title, that tends to be where it goes off the rails.
it's also worth pointing out that Alien Resurrection kind of came out at the beginning of this. Like, we had like 5 or 6 years there, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where a lot of movie titles were doing that. It's kind of like how like modern, like today, our like overplayed modern title trope is we just use the name of the first one without any numbers or anything. But back then, yeah, like where it's like, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 was just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Halloween 2018 was just called Halloween. Doom 2016 was just called Doom.
I hate it.
It's kind of, but back during the late 90s, early 2000s, we would have like blah 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 Resurrection, or blah 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 Revenge, or we had Halloween Resurrection, we had Alien Resurrection, we had like I think there was like Hellraiser Resurrection or something like that.
Yes, I mean there's everything. There's definitely a Hellraiser Bloodline somewhere.
Yeah,
or, you know, a new beginning, like all those fucking things.
Like it was just a trend with naming for a while there, where that was something that we saw a lot.
Just find a cool word in a thesaurus and use that over and over again.
I will just say, honestly, credit to Alien Romulus. They had the self-control to not just call it Alien.
Yeah, thank you.
Even though, like, so the name Alien Romulus, like, I understand why it's called that, but at the same time, Romulus as its like second word was kind of like, it wasn't the most, like, it wasn't the I don't think it was the best choice. Because the name Romulus in the title comes from the fact that they're on this station, and the station has two halves, Remus and Romulus.
Yeah, Remus and Romulus. There we go.
And like, you would think like, oh, it's called Alien Romulus because all the bad stuff happens on the Romulus side. And it's like, most of the bad stuff happens on the Romulus side, but they still do quite a bit on the Remus side.
Yeah, well, weird.
I'm trying to remember what the name of, because the whole station had a different name.
I mean, it must have something to do with Romulus and Remus. You know, the mythical kings of Rome, the first kings of Rome.
Yes.
Well, not mythical, but the kings
I'm trying to just remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about Romulus and Remus for that. Meanwhile, I can say, what do you mean? I absolutely
the Renaissance. The whole space station was called the Renaissance.
Oh, that sucks.
They could have called it Alien Renaissance.
Yeah, but let
me
just say
dumb.
Here,
but
I do love Super Freddy, just not for the reasons they want me to, but because Super Freddy is hilarious.
Super Freddy sucks.
He does, but he's hilarious. Come on. How can I not love Freddy with a giant Shazam lightning bolt on his chest?
No, Super Freddy sucks.
He does, but he's
that
funny.
That kill is decent, but Super Freddy sucks.
Come on, it's funny. There's some. At least you can say this about all the Freddy movies. At least they all have at least one moment that's hilarious and creative in some way. Like, even the bad ones has something.
Yeah. The problem is that like a lot of the creativity or a lot of the like cool moments are built upon the character of Freddy, and really it's Robert Englund's charm that is carrying those moments.
I'm getting you
more than anything.
But, there are some creative ideas here and there.
In
every of them has at least one scene where you're like, this could have been really fucking cool.
What is your favorite Friday, or not Friday? Sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street
film? It's a toss-up between the first one, because that's a classic. The third one, because everyone loves the third one, you know, Dream Warriors, because I think that's where they really hit the perfect balance between funny Freddy and scary Freddy.
Yeah.
Like, you still get the sense that he's a fucking sadist and an evil bastard. It gets a little insane with the fantasy shit here and there, because they get these dream powers and stuff, but it makes some sort of sense within the narrative, at least. And, of course, then 4, 5, and 6 are just gradually worse and worse. New Nightmare, I think, is actually pretty good.
See, for me, New Nightmare is my favorite.
New Nightmare is the first one I watched, actually, and it basically gave me my taste for horror in the first place. So I have a lot of fondness for it. The main problem is that it repeats a little too much from the first one. I would have liked.
No, it's it's meta horror.
Yeah, looking back on it, there are a few too many scenes that are like a little too shot for shot from the first.
Yeah, and I get
one.
that.
Just a tiny bit, but that's in retrospect. At the time, I was floored when I saw it.
I also have a ton of respect for the second one.
The second one is pretty good, actually. It's underrated, at least.
It is so gay.
Very gay. I'm pretty sure it always pops up in like LGBT horror books.
Oh yeah,
it's always
the main actor. I forget his name.
I do too. I don't know who the hell he is.
He wrote a book that was called like Scream King or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Talking about how he's like the first gay scream queen.
He might very well be.
Yeah.
At least until something like Hellbent came out. I'm sure.
I mean, probably.
Which is a fantastic title for a gay horror film, by the way. Hellbent. I love it.
Hellbent.
Well, bend is slang for being
gay
in some areas, so fucking
I get
amazing.
what you're saying. Billy Mount here is asking, not to derail the conversation, but Esh, have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
I have, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It is exactly the kind of dumb fun I was expecting.
Did we talk about Deadpool and Wolverine?
Not on here. We talked about
okay, because I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I didn't see it during the panel because they actually did a screening of the movie during the panel, which was wild. I heard that they were going to do that, and I tried to get into the panel, but instead, me and my buddy Adam just went to went to a screening like later on that night.
I saw it about 2 weeks ago. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was exactly the kind of stupid I needed because it's not trying to be particularly serious. First of all, there are a lot of people that are like, it's going a little hard on all the nostalgia. Yeah, that's the point. Like, I know some people are getting tired of the nostalgia baiting, and I get it. But the literal entire point of Deadpool and Wolverine is to be like, hey, remember who came before the MCU. Remember who built the first few pillars of what we see now as an industry. At least that's
and that's the thing is that even though that was technically Deadpool's first MCU film,
it wasn't an MCU film at all.
So. It wasn't an MCU film. It was very much
aside from
the last
the TVA, like
yeah. It like I feel like they used Disney to wrap up the Fox universe.
And
is what it was.
We talked about this privately. The fact that they didn't skip over the bad ones, like they got a little bit of love too. Even fucking Fantastic Four 2015, which I consider absolute garbage of a movie.
Fan Four stick?
Even that one gets at least a little shout out. Like, hey, we haven't forgotten you. You might not have been the super hit that Fox was hoping for, but you still exist. You did something. You kept something alive for a while, you know?
Did it get any more shout outs than just appearing during the like
No, there's a very, very, I guess it's a spoiler. The credits gave us some behind the scenes clips from a lot of Fox movies, both new and old. And it's very, very charming and absolutely delightful. I was smiling ear to ear the whole time. And we get a very, very brief glimpse of the Thing from Fan Four Stick. And that's
and we do also see Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, that's true.
Like, there are a couple clips of him. We see a couple clips of Miles Teller. You could tell that they didn't show a lot of it, but they at least acknowledged it.
They acknowledged it. But everything felt right. Like, there weren't really like any massive hot takes. They pretty much knew what the fandom tends to think of these movies. And they didn't so much ride tired jokes as they were just like, yeah, we know. Let's just go. And as a story itself, there are some parts that I think are a little weird, but it mostly worked, you know?
It wasn't the best story, but it did exactly what I feel like it needed to do.
It didn't need to be. Like, it was always meant to be meta and weird and silly. Like we didn't expect anything else. And besides, you know, we got the R-rated MCU movie we wanted because holy crap, it goes nuts every now and then.
And as Billy Mount points out, we didn't just get Fox characters because they also used it as an opportunity to wrap up. Like, New Line Cinema got some love with Blade showing up.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, the Russian from The Punisher was one of the villains, and it
Oh
was the
yeah,
Thomas Jane Punisher version of the Russian.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah, he was there
Yeah.
too in the Wasteland, I believe. Yeah, that's true. God, there's a lot of great moments in. I was definitely laughing my ass off during it and just enjoying it to hell and back. And the tradition of amazing opening scenes continues. By the way, the
Oh,
opening is about as cool as it can get.
my For You page is now on TikTok is now just entirely filled with people doing the
Dancing, bye bye
NSYNC dance
bye.
to Bye
Yeah.
Bye Bye dressed up like Deadpool. That's
Yes,
like
I've seen.
all my For You page now
I
is
don't.
just
I
people
can't even
doing that.
complain because that scene was fantastic. Like,
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I love that it paid off like a just random line from X2.
yeah, it's great.
Because if you didn't know, in X2, there's a moment where Wolverine's in the car with Iceman, Pyro, and
Mm,
Rogue. And Pyro reaches over and turns on the radio because he's tired of it being quiet. And the song that comes on is Bye Bye Bye. And Wolverine quickly turns it off. Is like, I hate that song.
yeah,
And
I
so
mean,
like him, Deadpool killing people with Logan's skeleton to that song is like one last like, haha, fuck you.
it's so much in Deadpool spirit, right? Because he has a whole rant about, okay, so Logan is this highly acclaimed film that put the character to rest, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, how are we gonna bring him back without shitting all over that ending and not making people mad? And in true Deadpool fashion, he just goes, "We don't," and does the most outrageous shit he can possibly imagine.
But he does a good job of not undermining the ending at all.
It's great. It's great.
And
Honestly, yeah,
I feel like that wouldn't have worked. Like they wouldn't have been able to. I feel like it might have cheapened the ending if X-23 wasn't in this movie.
yeah. Oh,
Her
X-23.
being there allowed that emotional core to still be
Yeah.
there for the ending of that
There's
movie.
a lot of good moments. Even if it technically isn't the Wolverine we know that we see in this movie, very, very, very technically it isn't him. But
Although we saw a lot of different ones, so we had our pick.
the fucking, oh my god, the Cavill.
The Cavalrine.
The Cavalrines killed me when I saw it.
See, for me, the highlight was
Comic book accurate Canadian Wolverine.
that was good. No, giant hair. I'm forgetting was it Age of Apocalypse?
It might have
The
been, I don't think
the one where Wolverine lost a hand, and
that-
it was the one that was leaning up against the wall and had the giant 80s Wolverine hair. That one was my favorite.
We could talk about Deadpool and Wolverine for hours. Honestly, it's
Yeah, it was
great.
Age of Apocalypse. Yeah.
If you have any love and any nostalgia at all for the Fox New Line era, the pre-MCU era of superhero movies in general, then it's absolutely worth it. If you have any love for that era at all, and I do, like, even if not all of them were great, think about this. At the time, in the late 90s, early 2000s, just seeing superheroes on the big screen was fucking amazing for a young nerd.
It's true. Billy Mount really wants us to talk about this because he's asked us 3 separate times.
Oh, Channing Tatum.
What did you think of Channing Tatum as Gambit in the movie, especially since he was supposed to get his own movie during the Fox era?
I love that he was there. Like, the instant I saw him, I was like, this is a wonderful joke. And it's very, very inside. But
so I will say that that was one. His appearance was spoiled for me.
That's unfortunate.
Which is it happens. It's kind of like the downsides of doing the job that I do.
Well, yeah.
Is every once in a while, like when leaks happen, I wind up having to see them. Because,
same. I mean, for the brief period I worked for CBR, it was the same. So.
Like, yeah, I'm an entertainment journalist. So when there's big news like that, I'm going to wind up seeing it. So I knew that Channing Tatum was going to show up. But it didn't, like, I was still happy to see him. And I was still like, for his sake, I was stoked to have him show up. And he did a great job. I wouldn't mind seeing more.
It's just a great thing in the movie that they chose to, like, let these characters go out in a blaze of glory. Like, they could very easily just have had them be there, and they could very easily have pulled an, what was it, X-Force in Deadpool 2, and kill them off and make that be the joke. Nah, fuck that. They might not be, center of the screen for a full minute doing their thing, but they all get to kick ass.
And they all get a moment.
And they all straight up say, like, let's go out with a bang. Let's actually get the finale that we never got.
Yeah.
In about as direct terms as they possibly can without breaking the fourth wall, you know? So I love that. I was very happy that they did that. Like, again, respect. They respect everything that came before. For
Even the things that didn't actually come, but were just supposed to
exactly,
maybe come.
like, even if it wasn't great, even if its reputation hasn't been great in the days since, it was given respect.
I've been saying for a while, and I think this is sort of we're at the beginning of it. I've been saying for a while that the Fox movies, even the bad ones, are going to they're gonna be treated like the prequels, where we're gonna hit a point where people are going to start to have more good things to say about them. And we're going to see a lot less negativity, even for the bad ones. I'm already seeing people saying that they loved the 2000s Fantastic Four.
I remember thinking the first one was all right back in the day.
The first one's decent.
And I don't remember if I ever actually saw Silver Surfer now that I think about it. I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't think I ever saw it.
The best part of that is Doug Jones is the Silver Surfer.
Oh God.
My beef with the 2000s Fantastic Four films is my beef with all Fantastic Four films that we've gotten so far is the fact that they feel like they have to tie Doctor Doom so hard to the Fantastic Four.
He's already pretty heavily tied to him in the comics,
and it's like, guys, he doesn't have like weird electric powers. Like, he's super smart, he's rich, and he's a sorcerer. Like, fucking let him do that stuff. He wasn't.
You know, like, that's the thing. Like, superhero movies have been allergic to magic for a long goddamn time. That's why, not even as a fan of the character necessarily, but that's why back when Doctor Strange came out, I was stoked. Just for the idea of finally a fucking superhero movie that isn't afraid of the word magic.
I was waiting for them to hand wave away the magic.
Yeah, I was just, oh no, it's not actually magic. It's weird cosmic energy from another whatever.
Well, again, as like was said in the first Thor film, like any like super advanced technology to a less technologically advanced race is going to appear indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly. That's literally the entire crux of
like when Doctor Strange was coming out, I was like, they're going to explain it as like alien technology or something because they set that shit up in Thor, and that's how they're going to explain it. But so far, it's been like, no, they're straight up fucking sorcery.
Straight up magic. Glad to see it. I'm so happy with that. But I do remember the good old days where they just did not want to acknowledge the idea of magic at all.
Magic is kind of silly. Well, so I get it.
So is super sci-fi. Come on, man.
Yes, but yeah.
No comment.
I will say that I want to see them expand more into the magic side of the Marvel universe. I have been carrying the torch for a couple of years now for a Midnight Suns movie. I still stand by that. I want to see that. I want Ghost Rider. I want Blade. I want all of the like supernatural side to get together. I want us to have our supernatural Avengers. I want to have Midnight Suns.
That will rule. Just more magical superheroes in general, honestly. I would be happy for that.
Since we're talking about Doctor Doom, should we address the elephant in the room?
We probably should. RDJ is Doctor Doom.
RDJ is Doctor Doom.
Yeah. I don't know if Mads Mikkelsen would have been a better choice, but thank you for the Danish representation there.
Not who I would have chosen, but that wouldn't have been that bad.
No.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't yet hate Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. No. I also am not excited about it. Yeah. Right now, I'm very much at a state of I don't know how I feel about it.
It hinges a lot on what they do with it, because
he's gonna be a Tony Stark variant,
which I'm not super fond of that idea. I know there are several like alternate realities where Tony is evil and he becomes basically Doctor Doom. I think there is a comic where he actually is Doctor Doom. So it's not like it's unprecedented in any way, but
Well, there
come
was a
on, man,
run
just use
there.
Doom.
There was a run there for a while where it wasn't Tony Stark was Doctor Doom. It was that Doctor Doom took the mantle of Iron Man.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. That did happen. That's true.
Yeah.
So and if they somehow don't do this, it's gonna be that like Victor Von Doom has somehow changed his face to look like Iron Man, and why would he do that? You know, like I don't know.
Well,
I'm not fond of the idea of a variance, but we'll
see, for me, like, or it's going to be them explaining away actors playing multiple different parts. Because like, here's the thing. So here's what we know about Fantastic Four, the upcoming film, is that it's set in like a retro future, 1960s kind of thing. Like think the Jetsons, basically.
Yeah. Which is always what I wanted from a Fantastic Four movie, honestly.
Yeah. Which I don't know if they, because I wasn't actually in the Hall H panel there at SDCC. I wasn't sure if they straight up said it, but I'm like 99.9% sure that it's an alternate Earth. It's not 199999. I will never call it 616
no,
Feige.
Fuck that.
Fuck
off. That. It's
That's the comic Earth.
Yeah.
It's 199999.
Yeah, we are gonna be boomer nerds on this and die on this hill. It is not 616. Fuck him for doing that. I hate that so much.
Anyways, it's an alternate Earth, so it could very much be, and we know that this Doctor Doom is Victor Von Doom because at the SDCC panel, Kevin Feige straight up called him Victor Von Doom.
Yeah.
So what if it's just like, no, he's not a Tony Stark variant, but there's gonna be a moment in Secret War where like one of the original Avengers, one of the ones that are still around, sees Doctor Doom without his mask and like thinks that it's Tony. They have like a moment, and that's how they explain away stuff like Chris Evans playing the Human Torch and Captain America in the MCU.
That could be it. That could absolutely be it. Maybe that's where they're going with it. We don't know much yet, so there's not really a lot to say. Have we even gotten a picture of him in costume? Was there?
No. We got him at the panel where he was wearing a green hood. That's the closest
that's about it. But that doesn't count.
But no, we have, however, seen the Fantastic Four costume.
Yes, and I believe I can't remember it now, but I think I liked it when I saw it. So
it is.
I mean, it's Fantastic Four. It's a very basic costume, so I don't remember them doing anything too wild with it.
It is a lot closer to like the traditional. I don't know if I necessarily want to show it.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was from an Instagram post.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
So I'm gonna put it up here.
All right, let me see. Let me see.
Overlay. Let me grab it.
I did see a picture where it seems like they're doing practical effects on the Thing, which I'm always happy to see. Or at least some degree of practical effects.
Yeah, a certain degree. So this is once it uploads here. There's the costume.
That reminds me a lot of the animated series, actually.
Yeah. I like that it's like sweater material.
Yeah.
Very, again, like 1960s sort of retro future stuff.
Yeah. No, I like the very simple logo too.
Yeah.
I've always I'm not like the biggest Fantastic Four expert or fan on anything like that. I've always preferred when Fantastic Four outfits are very sleek and simple. Whenever they like overcomplicate them, I'm like, no. These are about as archetypical a superhero family as you can get. So let their outfits reflect that. Let them be simple. They're a unit.
So are you saying that you didn't appreciate the 90s Sue Storm showing more skin than costume?
We do not speak of Invisible Stripper in this house.
Well, I'm not in the same house as you, so...
Fuck you. I am not.
I'm
a fan
halfway
of
around the world from you.
Yeah,
So
I am not a fan of invisible stripper Susan Storm. That is the most ridiculous thing that might have ever
I
happened.
don't think
in
many
comics.
people are.
I mean, it only lasted for like 6 issues or something. It didn't. It
Yeah, it
didn't stick
wasn't
around.
very long.
Kind of like that horrible Thor costume where he had chains all over in the 90s. I think that was also only there for like 8 issues or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it made it into the Marvel versus DC crossover. Good lord. Which is where I saw it the first time, and it's horrendous. It's one of the worst
Now,
costumes I've ever seen.
Speaking of chains, since we were talking about Midnight Suns a little bit,
Oh yeah, yeah.
If we were to get an MCU Ghost Rider, which one would you want? Which Ghost Rider?
Oh, which Ghost Rider? I mean, we've already had. It was Johnny Blaze and the Nicolas Cage ones. So we might as well not do that just for the sake of doing something different. I don't actually know much about Danny Ketch. I don't really know what the difference is.
He's kind of the forgotten Ghost Rider.
He is, yeah.
No one ever talks about him.
God, I gotta remember which Ghost Riders there have been. The last one I heard of was all new Ghost Rider, the Hispanic kid.
Robbie Reyes.
Robbie Reyes, that was his name. He, honestly, I don't know. I felt like he was very like, oh shit, DC made a Latino Blue Beetle. We better make a Latino Ghost Rider. He came out around.
Yeah, but there was a lot. I feel like he was a much deeper character than just that.
I really wouldn't know. I only read the first trade, and I don't remember an awful lot of it. So cut me some slack here.
So they did. I will say they did do Robbie Reyes in Agents of Shield, although Agents of Shield isn't canon to the main MCU.
That is true. That is true. Let's see, who else did we have? I didn't even know that Alejandra Jones was the Ghost Rider for a moment. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Frank Castle, Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Let's maybe not do that. Let's treat them as their own characters before we start getting into that shit. Michael Badalino. I don't even know who that is. Oh well.
It's worth pointing out that when you just look up lists of people who have been Ghost Rider in the comics,
it
like
includes people that worked for one issue for
or like, you know, stories from like, oh, it's like this guy was Ghost Rider back in like the 1600s or whatever.
Yes, we have some of those. That would actually be interesting to see, though, like a Ghost Rider in a different time period. But we want a modern Ghost Rider. I guess it would be interesting to do Danny Ketch just because people have forgotten about that guy. Like, let's see what we can do with him, or Robbie, for that matter.
I think
varying things a little. Unfortunately, Robbie has the car, I think.
Yeah, the Dodge Charger.
And I do like my Ghost Rider best when he's on a bike, man.
Here's my solution. Robbie Reyes is the main Ghost Rider of the film, but we have his origin is tied to Johnny Blaze.
Yes, that could work.
So you do kind of like what it seems like they're doing with the Green Lantern for the new DCU, where there's going to be Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Right. Yes.
You do Ghost Rider where it's focused on Robbie Reyes, but Johnny Blaze is there.
That would be great.
That's what I would do.
Ghost Rider. One thing that happens with the MCU, because in the MCU it's very, very clear that like superhumans were extremely uncommon until Captain America and until the 2000s. You know.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying I always wanted Fantastic Four to be in a different Earth instead of being like 999 1960s, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
to me. But Ghost Rider has always operated outside the normal spectrum of superheroes. Like he's doing all sorts of creepy supernatural shit nobody knows anything about.
And he's very low key. Like Ghost Rider in the Marvel universe, everyone knows who Thor is. Everyone knows who who all these big name heroes are. Ghost Rider is one of those people that if you're living in the Marvel universe, you might not even know who he is, or if you have heard of Ghost Rider, you might think of them in the same way that we think of like Bloody Mary, or like
he's a myth. Like he's the story gangsters tell each other to fall asleep. You know,
like
tell their kids to make them behave.
Because like the thing is that like in the Marvel universe, even though they've seen literal gods, I mean Thor is there.
Yeah,
I'd still imagine that people would be like, the devil, like making a deal with people. That's a little far-fetched.
The thing is that as Guardians in Marvel, are kind of more similar to aliens than actual gods when you get down to it.
Yeah,
So-
but to a layman on
Mm.
the street, they're gonna see Thor calling
I
down
know,
lightning, and they're
I
gonna
know,
be
I
like,
know, I
"That's a
know.
god."
That's a fucking god. But yeah, Ghost Rider definitely operates on a whole different playing field than everyone else. So I can see there having been Ghost Riders throughout history in the 9999 whatever universe, because that makes more sense to me that he would be like a myth on the American highways. Like, oh, there was this place where a whole gang was torn to shreds by chains. What the fuck happened here? That was the Ghost Rider. Nah, he doesn't exist. And yes, he does. You know, I can see
Or
that.
we pull something like fucking wild out of our ass.
Oh god.
And the introduction of Ghost Rider in the MCU is in an Avengers 1 million BC movie.
Oh my god. You want
And
Ghost
so
Rider
the
1 million BC.
and so the Ghost Rider that we get is the rider, the one with the flaming mammoth mount.
Holy shit. That would be
I
amazing.
love Avengers 1 billion BC.
It is a hilarious idea.
It's so good. You've got the first Iron Fist, the first Black Panther.
Yes.
You've got Odin like there. You've got fucking the Phoenix. You've got Star whatever. I forget
Starbrand, you mean Starbrand.
Yeah, Starbrand.
And Agamotto, actual Agamotto.
Yeah, actual
amazing.
Agamotto, not just his fucking eye, like the actual guy.
Mm.
Like that's brilliant.
It is,
And
it's
it's
pretty
such like a
rad.
such a cool thing. I'd
Yeah.
love to see some representation for that. I feel like
You're never gonna get that.
Oh, it's
You're
never
gonna get it.
I feel like my love of Avengers 1 million BC and my love of the 2099 universe come from kind of the same place.
Probably.
Where like I love seeing these weird alternate versions of
Yes.
characters.
I mean, you know me. People shit all over the multiverse nowadays, and I get it. It's overdone, and only half of it is any good. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
I love alternate takes on characters. I love seeing, okay, for an example that actually exists, what if Spider-Man was in India? Like, I just love stuff like that. And it's not too long ago that I read Marvel 1602, for example.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Some of the ideas they have for that is fucking awesome. Because, like, they do the X-Men as literally, like, witchlings. Like, they're just this universe's version of witch hunts. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And
1602 is a great story
really
arc
good.
that is worth checking.
The first one, at least. The first series is really good.
Yeah.
And the idea of Peter Parker as, like, a young squire and stuff like that, it fucking works, man. It's just good. I like it a
That's
lot.
why we were talking about this a couple of days ago. So a couple of years back when I was working on CBR, we were trying to like come up with new content types, and I pitched the idea of doing a live play series with because at the time the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game was coming out.
Yes.
And so I pitched the idea of, hey, like we have all of these like creators, these on-camera folk who are recognizable. Like, let's get all these people together and let's do a live play with this game. And so as part of the pitch, I came up with like the sort of the story hooks and what was going on. And I devised my own alternate Marvel Earth that the game was going to be set on. And as part of that, like I had a lot of fun coming up with these like weird alternate takes on characters that would just make that version of Earth feel like a little bit more distinct and a little bit more its own. So I had weird stuff like that version of Earth's Ghost Rider was James Howlett, was Wolverine without adamantium, so he had like flaming bone claws, the whole thing. Fucking Green Goblin, Norman Osborn wasn't the Goblin. His Goblin formula didn't drive him crazy, and so he stayed a very benevolent character, and he became the Green Knight, is what I called him.
Yeah.
Like I just had a lot of fun with that because it's cool to like sit there and think of like alternate, like what if situations.
I do love that. I do love alternate takes. I read a couple of the DC Earth 1 comics a while back, and those are very interesting. It wasn't because it was the most amazing story ever or anything, but like Teen Titans Earth 1 has some really cool ideas. for how to adapt some of these characters. Raven especially is interesting. Stuff like, I mean, that's how we got Spider-Man Noir. Come on.
My favorite DC story arc was Earth 2. Specifically when like specifically the story arc after Darkseid won. And so you get like this alternate Alan Scott Green Lantern. We get this alternate Flash. We've got Huntress back doing Huntress stuff. You know, we've got Val Zod Superman. Like, I really liked that storyline. One, because it's like just a very intriguing storyline. Watching these heroes deal with a world where they lost.
Yeah.
But also just the alternate versions of the characters I thought were really, really cool. Like
there are some
that version of Alan Scott Green Lantern, his powers not being tied to the emotional spectrum like other Green Lanterns, but his powers being tied to the green, the same source of power that Swamp Thing gets his powers from.
Damn, okay, that's like, cool.
Yeah. It was super cool. Highly recommend checking out. Read it, or at the very least, and I'm gonna bum everyone out here for a second. At the very least, watch Comic Storians, like his entire summary of that arc. Rest in peace, Comic Storian. But his like summary of that storyline was what got me into it, and then I actually went and I read it myself, and I loved it both ways.
That sounds really good. I do have a lot of love for the JSA crew in general. So
yeah.
Even if it's alternate takes on them, I would absolutely love to read it. I love.
Well, and this is the JSA crew if they came after the Justice League crew.
Yeah, I get it. That is an interesting idea. I do love the JSA crew. I love the Golden Age heroes whenever they show up in the modern age of DC. They always have such a. This is irrelevant to the story you're mentioning, but I love when they show up. It always feels like, don't worry, kids, Daddy's here. Even if they're like way less powerful than the ones that came after them. Like Jake Garrick. Jake Garrick is nowhere near Barry or Wally's level at all in terms of power. No. But it always still feels like, oh, hell yeah, Dad showed up. Now we're safe.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Well, and it's like, I loved it in, I believe it was Kingdom Come, when you actually saw Alan Scott like part of like the regular Green Lantern Corps.
I do believe so. Yes, it's been.
That was such a goddamn trip to see that, but like I loved it.
I do. Like
I love
Alan
seeing
Scott.
Stuff like that.
I do like Alan a lot as a character when he shows up. He's fun.
That weird Green Lantern with a weakness to wood for some fucking reason,
and whose costume is basically just a red sweater and a domino mask. It's weird. Welcome to the Golden Age, folks.
And they retconned. They did eventually retcon that his lantern was a Green Lantern ring and lantern, but it was like a rogue Green Lantern died on Earth, and
I believe it was originally magical in the Golden Age.
Yeah, it was magic,
straight up magic. I haven't read many of his Golden Age stories, but I believe there was straight up magic there.
And there's like some kind of questionable ties to like Chinese mysticism.
Oh boy,
a little bit problematic. But it's bizarre. It's weird.
I'm sure.
But with that, do we feel like we should wrap this up and get to the main event for today?
I do want to show one quick thing off. You already know this, but one thing that happened in the 2 weeks you've been gone is that I made a very cool little discovery at a pawn shop. So I need to show these off.
Do I know this?
Well, not a pawn shop, a second-hand store. Because about 2 weeks ago, I was visiting. This is just a cool little thing I want to show off because I think it's cool. I was visiting Sweden to visit a friend. You can literally just, hop on a train to Sweden here. At least parts.
Yeah, it's like what, like 10 minutes? It's not that bad.
An hour, but thank you. From
the fact that you can get to another country in an hour.
I mean,
so I live
in one of the southern states. You could.
I live in one of the northernmost states of the U.S. and it still takes me 4 hours to get to another country. If I go 4 hours north, I hit Canada.
I mean, to be fair, Copenhagen is like on the coast. So, but anyway, I happened to go into a secondhand store with my friend just for fun, just to look around, and happened to find a very, very good deal on some classic Sega Mega Drive games.
Oh yeah, Castle of Illusion, baby.
Yeah, these cost me like $60 in total, all three, which is an insane price.
Love it when that happens.
The best thing is, like, the lady behind the counter was like an older lady, and she obviously doesn't know anything about this. She looked at the prices in the back, and she was like shocked at how expensive they were, and I was just standing there trying not to laugh at her. like, one of these,
Like,
one
don't
of
look
these,
it up. Don't look it up.
one of these would cost 70 to 80 online. So how about fuck off? I mean, we got Altered Beast, pretty much must have if you have a Mega Drive at all.
I feel like that's like a game that if you have a Genesis and you don't have Altered Beast, there's like a tear in the space-time continuum. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, I haven't had Altered Beast for a while. I've had my Mega Drive for like a couple of years at this point. Oh, is it Mega Drive? Where is it Mega Drive and where's the Genesis? I really can't remember.
Genesis in North America, everywhere else it's Mega Drive.
There we go. To me, it's a Mega Drive. I call it Genesis. It's a better name. The other one is Quackshot with Donald Duck. I didn't actually know this existed, but hey, Disney had a lot of fantastic platformers in the 90s. Like a lot, actually. And speaking of that, freaking Castle of Illusion.
Castle of Illusion.
That is
Castle of Illusion is a classic.
It is. I already have World of Illusion, the third game, where Donald Duck is also playable. So
yeah,
I kind of need. Now I feel like I have to find the second game just to have all the Sega Genesis ones.
What is the second one called?
I think it's called World of Illusion. No, that's
isn't that the third one?
Shit. Yeah, that's the third one. Hold on. Now I'm curious. I don't even know what the difference is between the first and the second one. There might not be much of a difference. Let's see. Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. What is the sequel to that one? Legacy. Let's see. Illusion series. Here we go. The second one is Land of Illusion. Oh, Land and World came out the same year.
Was one for like the Game Boy and the other ones?
No, Land of Illusion is for the Master System. That explains it.
Yeah. So they're probably basically the same game.
Probably.
But just like...
Yeah, and then there's Legend of the Illusion on the Game Gear. Which, as you said earlier today, to me is basically just a portable Master System.
The Game Gear, like, even to the degree that you can get an adapter for the Game Gear, it's bulky and unwieldy as shit. But you can get an adapter to play Master System games on the Game Gear. And actually vice versa, I believe.
There is quite a few of these Illusion games, actually. But that does mean I have the two that came out on Genesis now. So that's
did
cool.
I ever tell you?
Work. Here's the thing. Oh, hold on. Let me rant a little more. They work perfectly, so that's awesome.
Nice.
They came with the fucking manuals.
Nice.
Like, these are perfect shape boxes, and they have the freaking manuals. For those that don't collect this retro shit, this is rare to find. Like,
yeah.
Manual in box. That is amazing. And it makes them worth way more. So even if
I ever tell you my story of my like crazy LOL what the fuck, why is this so cheap?
No, I don't think
retro game find?
No, I don't think you have.
This one was actually at a retro game store. So these people should have known better.
Oh.
So I was there and I saw this. This is Final Fantasy X-10-2 for the Vita. This is the Japanese.
For the Vita. Oh my god.
The Japanese double pack.
Damn.
Because so in North America for the Vita release of this game, it was in one case. The cartridge had 10 on it, and then 10-2 was a download code. But in Japan, 10-2 got a physical. And this is the double pack. When I bought it, I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, like the box is open, like, it's all good. This cost me $60. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy that to put it on my shelf and just look at it because Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy. I want to collect all of the 10-2 like remakes, all the different versions. I have it on PS3, I have it on PS4, I have it on PC, I have it on Switch, I have it on Vita in both English and Japanese. I still need Xbox One.
The only other retro game where I think I got a good deal is Legend of Mana. No,
we're not finished. No, this gets crazier.
Oh god, go on.
So I didn't check it
No.
which I never do. When I get something like this, I always open it and I always look to make sure that everything's there. But I was in this store and this is the store here in my town here in Yakima. I'm not going to name the store, but
No.
I fucking hated it. I thought it was just a bad experience, like bad customer service. The guys were super fucking snooty. Like I collect original Xbox. And I went in there and I was like looking around and I couldn't find an Xbox section. So I was like, hey, do you guys have an Xbox section? And the guy was just like, why the fuck would you want an Xbox?
Oh, God.
And I was like, and he pointed me over in the corner and they had like 5 games.
Yeah, well,
and I was
fuck
like,
that guy.
Okay, well, fuck that. So I bought this and got the hell out of there pretty quick. But when I got home, I opened it. And I'm going to pull this out for a second and I want to see if you. So first of all, it has the art cards.
Oh, that's great.
Still sealed.
That's amazing. What the hell? Yo,
the games are sealed.
Oh.
So I paid 60 for this. This sealed by itself is like $90.
Damn.
Then this, I think sealed is only like 40. But I was like, I kind of wonder if they didn't realize that it was sealed.
Damn. Okay.
And then I looked it up online and I learned that the cardboard box part was never sealed. Like when it was sold at retail, it was open like this.
Wow.
So it's just the games themselves that were sealed. So I effectively just have a sealed box copy of these 2 games.
That's fucking insane.
For like half the cost that I should have paid.
That is pretty good. Like I don't collect in the same way you do. I also don't have the money for it. Back when I first
You think I have the money for it? That's cute.
No. Nah,
I'm
man,
in debt up to my eyeballs.
Nah, man. I just eat biscuits every day. No, the only other purchase I've made like that where I'm like, this was a good deal, is back when I bought my Super Nintendo, which is like 10 years ago at this point. I got Secret of Mana on cartridge, which is already, a pretty, not necessarily the most valuable game ever, but a pretty sought after game.
Yeah.
And I got the poster along with it. So if you pay attention,
that's an expensive ass poster.
It is. Unfortunately, mine is not in great shape. The corner is a little bit torn.
Still, it's an expensive ass poster.
So I have that wonderful picture of the 3 of them next to the gigantic ass tree of mana. The one where you flip it and on the backside there's a map of the game world. That's actually.
Do you know what my like best advice for collecting, especially like very expensive cartridge-based games is?
No.
Buy Japanese.
Oh yeah, well that I know.
So I also have Secret of Mana.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Yep.
In Japanese.
Second Densetsu 2 in this case.
Yep. I also have
Seiken 3.
Seiken 3.
I had the collection on Switch now, which I really should play.
Yeah, I have that too. Also, we've talked about this. Play the remake of Trials 2. It's really good.
Yeah, I know.
But and also Dragon Quest 6.
Yes. Not my favorite Dragon Quest game, I will say, but
so Secret of Mana in English, I think is like $90.
Yeah, I paid about 50 to 60 for this back in the day.
I paid $7 for this.
Okay, that's insane.
Shipped
from
Japan. And I think Seiken Densetsu 3 was like $15.
That is completely ridiculous.
So, but you're probably sitting there thinking like, John, it's in Japanese. I can't read Japanese. It's pointless to me. I play all of my cartridge games, with the exception of like the N64, obviously, on a Retron 5.
Yeah, I have considered getting one of those.
It is brilliant. Highly recommend it. With Retron 5s, you can load translation patches. So I play with Japanese carts and just load the English translation patch.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So you can actually put like, what the fuck are they called? What are those files called? IPS files?
IPSs.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
literally only learned about how to use an IPS file today. So give me some credit.
That's also it. That also opens it up to like you can also just play ROM hacks. And actually, if you make your own IPSs, which is really not hard, like even the same tool that patches the ROMs on PC can make IPSs as well. The other way, people actually found that that's how you can play pirated games on the Retron 5 because they'd be like, "Oh, I have this cartridge. I'm gonna make an IPS patch that turns it into a completely different game." Just absurd.
That's fucking
But
insane.
because the Retron 5 can't play flashcards.
No.
So that's like its thing. But I do recommend the Retron 5, and I recommend
I've considered it many times.
Japanese.
Also, so I can just, buy for consoles I don't have. I actually do have one Mega Drive game that I can't play because I don't have not a Mega Drive, Master System game that I can't play because I don't have it.
So the Retron 5 can play Master System with an adapter.
Right. Well, the
adapter there's an adapter that they released later because the Retron 5 can play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Famicom, NES, Super Nintendo / Super Famicom. That's the same. Unlike the Famicom and the NES, Super Famicom and Super Nintendo are the same pinout,
yeah, they're
so they
basically
don't
the same
need a separate
machine, right?
slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Genesis. And then after the fact, they released an adapter that allows for Master System, Game Gear, and I believe TurboGrafx 16 cards.
Wow, really? TurboGrafx?
I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think it's TurboGrafx.
See, this is the thing. Nobody in my country had TurboGrafx, by the way.
Dude, nobody in my country had TurboGrafx either. That's
exactly.
like
except when I used to visit my grandma, her adult grandson, who's like 10 years, 15 years older than me, actually did have one. So I only realized later how rare this is. I've actually sat around when I was like 8 at my grandma's house and played Super Bonk. Well, not Super Bonk, one of the Bonk games.
Okay. It wasn't TurboGrafx, but it is a card like system. It's the Master System had a card, like had some games on TurboGrafx 16 like cards.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot of them, but the adapter allows for Game Gear, Master System, and then Master System cards.
Okay, I would have loved if there was an adapter for TurboGrafx. Would have been amazing.
I think for some weird reason, I'm thinking that Hyperkin has, because Hyperkin under the Retron name, which is their like name for their clone consoles, I think they have a TurboGrafx, like a separate one.
Possibly,
but
who knows?
I will say the Retron 5 is like I think that for retro collectors, that's like the best $150 you can spend.
Yeah, I might do that someday.
The first thing I will say if you buy one of those is, for the love of God, do not use the controller that comes with it. It is the biggest flaming piece of shit I'm
looking at it right now, and it just looks like a frozen turd. Like, what the hell?
And here's the thing: it looks 1,000 times better than it is.
Oh God.
It's got like a weird clicky stick.
Ew.
Which like is fine. I don't hate the clicky stick. But it's just like I would rather have a D-pad.
It's fucking
actually, I'm looking at it now on Amazon.
It's fucking ugly.
The current model of the Hyperkin,
the
Retron 5, that because they've discontinued some versions of it. The most current one is like this weird, like teal and pink. It's a weird color combination. My friend Michael, the one that he has is this one. He actually specifically wanted this one for some reason. He's weird. I don't know. But that one, at least the bundle that I'm looking at on Amazon, comes with their comes bundled with the wireless controller that is garbage and don't use, but also comes with Hyperkin's I believe it's called the Scout controller, which is their their Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
So because
that looks considerably better.
yeah, the Retron you can use Super Nintendo, NES, and Genesis controllers, and you can use any of them on any system. So you could use the Super Nintendo controller to play Genesis and NES games.
Wonderful.
It'd be weird to play Genesis games, but you can.
You were not kidding. This thing is fucking hideous with its colors.
Again, my friend Michael loves that color combination.
Well, are you sure he's
no one ever said that my friend Michael had good taste?
Are you sure he's still your friend?
He is. Love that guy.
Okay. Well.
I went out of my way. I specifically bought the just like black and purple one. It's black with like some small purple highlights, but they discontinued that. But actually, you can still get it on Amazon, but it's just the base package that comes with the wireless controller, which is fine for me because I have Super Nintendo controllers. I have Genesis controllers. I have myself, NES controllers.
Yeah.
I hate the NES controller.
It is a clunky little piece of work.
Speaking of controllers, one thing that I'm going to do.
Right. You got to show this off. You got to
before we segue into we're going to be doing a Pokemon Soul Link. We're going to be starting that today.
Yeah. We're going to explain what that is, by the way. But
yes, we will explain what that is. This week, Hyperkin. We've been glazing up Hyperkin this episode.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of Hyperkin. There's some people out there who I know don't like them, but I love them. So a few years back, they released this. This is the Duke, a replica of the original Xbox controller for modern consoles. This is specifically the 20th anniversary edition that was released in 2021 to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the original Xbox. I love the Duke. I'm one of the weirdos who I find this controller to be very comfortable. I also don't have tiny hands.
Well,
so I know that people with smaller hands, they hate this. But this week, they released the Duchess. Their replica of the S-Type controller. This might be my favorite controller that I own. I fucking love this. I love the original. I do have my original one right here.
Yeah.
And this feels exactly like it. Like it is spot on. They nailed it.
That is pretty fucking wonderful.
Perfect. With a few quality of life things, there's a home button. The middle jewel is now a button instead of just a weird thing that's stuck on the controller. The black and white buttons here are now mirrored on the top as L1 and R1. The original controller did not have that. There's no buttons there. So if you're not if you're unlike me, who I'm actually very used to hitting the white and black buttons, you now have proper buttons there. It is wired.
Shoulder triggers. Yeah.
It is wired. It takes USB-C removable cable, which for me, that's fine. I usually play on PC and I'm like a foot away from a USB port.
Same.
I could be wired in. And even when I am playing on my consoles, I'm usually still seated at my desk.
Yeah, we talked about this recently too. I only recently remembered that plugging in a modern game console is like the easiest thing to play games.
You can any modern controller with the exception of the Joy-Cons.
Because it used to be a pain in the ass to do this. And I've just never really looked into if it still was a pain in the ass. But because I was playing some things lately that I'm making a video about, I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to use a PC keyboard for this. I have a fucking PS5 controller. And all
the thing that I think is great.
2 minutes with DS4,
because it's only been this generation where the other companies have gotten on it, because Xbox, since the 360, their controllers have worked on PC natively and you haven't had to worry about it. I remember back in the day trying to get a 6-axis to work on my PC. You had to have a special program running in the background that was hacked together by fucking fans that like because Sony didn't want to support the PC.
Shit like trying to well, this is a little different, but shit like trying to get the Guitar Hero guitar to work on PCs was also a nightmare.
Yeah, until like later versions of it. Now it's all like fucking standardized. But like even the DualShock 4 was a little wonky to like plug into your PC. Like it didn't just work. You had to go out and you had to download specific drivers that Windows didn't serve you.
Yeah.
Like you had to go to the website and download.
Fucking ass.
Because nowadays you plug in a DualShock, the new, what is it, DualSense or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, DualSense.
It's a DualShock 5. You plug that thing in and it just immediately knows it. And like even to the degree that like Steam is like, hey, you plugged in a DualSense controller. We're gonna change the fucking graphics to be fucking PlayStation buttons in some games, not all games.
Yeah.
Like and like fucking Spider-Man on PC takes advantage of the DualSense controller. And like you get all the like cool like force feedback in the triggers and stuff if you're playing with a PS5 controller on PC for that game. Like nowadays, like everything works. Even the Nintendo Pro controller works on PC. I did look it up. I wasn't sure if it did. I looked it up. It does work.
It's been a lifesaver because like I record a lot of those indie horror games, and a lot of the time I have to use my keyboard for that because obviously they're indie games. Some of them do have controller support. One of my biggest problems is that like I have my mic right here, like right above my keyboard. So in most of my playthroughs, you can actually hear me hit the keyboard all the time. Not a big deal.
Do you have a mechanical keyboard?
I have a mechanical. I haven't really had the money.
At this point, like in modern society, unless you're like financially you can't afford it, I see no reason to not have a mechanical keyboard. But it is just vastly superior.
The point is, it's just slightly noisy. Like just a little bit. And it's not a big deal, but it annoys me personally. So now that I realize I can do this for a lot of games, it's going to be a lot more pleasant. Plus, like I can lean back and it's so good. Anyway, that was a whole sidestep just because I wanted to show off the Sega games.
And I wanted to share my love of this. Hyperkin, you're not a sponsor, but you could be. If you want to send me the white version, I bought the black version because it's classic, but if you want to send me the white one,
hey, Hyperkin,
I'm already singing your praises. You better believe I'll be singing your fucking praises.
Hey, Hyperkin, we're both very close to 10,000, so...
Also, Hyperkin, I'm going to see you at Portland Retro. So
yeah, go jazz us up.
We'll be talking.
Go get them to send me a Retron.
But I will be playing today's game with this.
Yes.
I will be, which is going to be weird playing fucking Pokemon with an original Xbox Type S controller.
I mean, shit, I'm playing it with a PlayStation controller. That's not less weird.
So, yes, we are going to be starting a Pokemon Soul Link Nuzlocke.
Yes.
What is that? Actually,
I think we should explain it when we start the stream. Like the game is actually on screen. But
really quickly before we jump into it, we're going to end this stream, and then we're going to be streaming on our individual Twitch channels.
Yes.
So you can go check those out. Fiction, you're Eshball on Twitter or on Twitch.
Yes,
aren't you?
I'm posting it in the chat in just a second.
Yes. And I'm Bender Waffles. If you can post both of them, that'd be great.
Yes, just a second. I will.
You'll be able to see our different perspectives on it. So before we go, I got to ask you, you did the initial setup for the game.
Yes.
Did you happen to hack your save game to give yourself rare candies?
I do not think so. I think I forgot to ask you how to do that.
Everybody on stream, you guys are going to watch me walk him through how to do this. Hold on.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Are we
you
now?
Guys, we're going to do this right now.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna we're not gonna make you watch us grind or shit like that. So
no, yeah. So we're gonna hack it. This is a typical thing for streamers where they will they'll give themselves rare candies and just set a rule where they can't surpass like a certain level cap for each of the major story fights.
Yeah.
So in the zip that I sent you, you'll have PK Hex.
Yes. Give me a second. I'm looking for our links. There we go.
Yeah.
So I can post them quickly a little later. There we go. I have it. Yes. Right. in the, what did you say it was called? PK Hex?
PK Hex.
Okay, let me just find it real quick. Games. Yeah. PK Hex, there it is.
Okay. With PK Hex, open your save game.
Yes.
It should be the name for you. It'll be Pokemon Black version Esh edition.
Yes. Dot save.
Dot save.
Yep.
Yeah. Open that.
Mm-hmm.
And then go over to the save tab.
The save tab. Where is that? Oh, here it is. Yep.
Go to items.
Mm-hmm.
And then the medicine tab.
Medicine. That is this one. They're all called none right now.
Weird.
I think it's because I literally just started the game. I don't have any items at the moment in game.
Well, is the icon right?
The icon is right. I'm looking at medicine. I'm clicking under it. It's just the item list. They all say none and count 0.
Oh yeah. So select the top one, and you'll have access to the drop down list.
Yep, and there's the rare candy.
And the maximum that you can have in black and white is 995.
Wow, really? Not 999?
Yeah.
Weird. That's fucking weird. All right. Well,
so once you do that, just click save, and it'll close the window.
Yep.
And then go to File, Export Save.
Yep.
And then just export it to the same place with the same name.
Yep. Overwrite, yes, please.
Yep.
Might as well.
And then there you go.
All right, that was easy.
So now with that, we're going to, there will be a slight break while we set everything up, but then we will be over on our Twitch channels.
And our links are right here in the chat. There they are. All right, that should do it. So hop on over there.
Hop on over there.
I need to turn down the volume on my ROM.
Yeah, I'm putting on straight up headphones.
Yikes.
All right. So, and I will call you on Discord.
Yep.
All right, we will be back
in just a second. Bye-bye.